Hello, educators. First of all, let me apologize for being so long and getting back to all of you. A little bit of eye surgery, getting school underway again. Just time flies when you're having as much fun as I have. I wanted to have this time to do a little bit of filming so we could have maybe a lively discussion about an opportunity that I had last week to speak on the Kojo Namdi show on NPR radio concerning single-gender education. It was really interesting. We had a researcher that was kind of middle of the road, hasn't really formulated a definite opinion on it. And we had a lawyer from the ACLU that, no surprise, very much against it, because she believes that it's comparable to the civil rights and racism edicts that we had back in the 60s of separate and unequal. I had a little difficulty combating that because I really couldn't understand why anybody would think that in a school we would separate boys and girls and give girls some watered-down curriculum like home ec and babysitting while we're educating boys on science and math. So I'm a firm believer in single-gender classrooms, but separate and equal, with a chance for parents to opt in, opt out, all about choices. I was asked, and this was thought-provoking for this filming, exactly what led our school to set up a single-gender classroom, considering that we're the only school in our district that does it. And one of the things is when the ACLU spoke to me about civil rights, that they don't believe it's in a child's civil rights to be in a single-gender classroom. I firmly believe it's in a child's civil right to get the best education that we can put together for them. And I spoke about the really high scores that our sixth graders had last year. And what happened was that entire sixth grade class was the beneficiary of three really good things. Well, four really. They had very good teachers in each of those classrooms. In one classroom, the teacher had been in a 3-year loop with that class. He had had the same students for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and he was a good teacher. One teacher had an all-boys classroom, and he's a very, very good teacher and keeps the boys, plays to their need for competition and teaming, and really took advantage of that. And the third teacher was just a very, very good teacher. So we had a lot of dynamics going on there, plus we had an intervention block that we instituted at the end of every day so that a child who was not getting the curriculum for that day had time at the end of the day to get caught up and retaught instead of waiting for weeks and weeks to go by, or even summer school. There was a lot of things that came to play in that dynamics, and I think that's one of the reasons that led us to single-gender classroom was a search for tools to help get kids the best education that we can give them. I heard a really interesting synopsis of the economy yesterday. Bernanke was talking on 60 Minutes about the disparity in our country and boils it down to the educational disparity. The economics really, really can be connected to the economic gap in this country. There's very few middle class anymore. There's the very rich and there's people that are struggling. And if you take a look at the unemployment now that lies around 9.6, that's bad. But if you take and break it down to the unemployment among those that have a college education, it's 5%. If you take a look at the unemployment among those who have only a high school education, it's over 10%. So I think it really is incumbent upon us as educators to keep searching and searching and searching for any kind of a tool that we feel will help narrow that educational disparity and give kids a better chance to succeed. So that was the impetus behind really looking for a change affected by single-gender classroom, and what we found out was, as a standalone, it's not going to do it. As a standalone program, if you don't have good teachers, if you don't have relationship building, if you don't have swift intervention for education, just putting boys and girls in separate rooms is not going to do it at all. So that's the reason why I wanted to do a little bit of filming today, to get everybody's opinion about single-gender education from that aspect of really trying to look for ways. And I am absolutely convinced that the reason our kids outscored schools that had 4 times less minority and disadvantage that we did was because those tools all came together. It's like having a hammer with a whole lot of hands on it. Kids' hands, parents' hands, my hands, teachers' hands. It's not just one person and it's not just one program that's going to affect a change for our kids. But we can't sit back and look for excuses like separate and unequal, which didn't even play into it, or it's never been done before, or what will the parents think about it? You know, if we don't dare to go out on the limb for our kids, we're going to keep getting and doing the same thing that we've been doing for over 100 years. You know, there's an old saying that says, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. And right now this country's in a sad state of affairs as far as the disparity of education between the haves and have-nots. And it's going to be that way long after I'm gone if we don't take a breath and dare to be different. So I'm going to leave you with that. Give me some idea of how you feel about the civil right of getting an education and the disparity in this country. If you have any ideas, I'd love for you to share. Thanks.